Hello, dear friends. Matthew's messages through his mother Susan are always a balm for the soul. Opinion piece. Are we going to have a no more Christmas? Matthew Watt thinks so. This can't be delayed any longer. Things are not what they seem. There are more civilizations emitting light. Everything is accelerating towards a positive ending. It could be the before or after Christmas. The end of the lesson is accelerating. The big crypto restart coming. The Indo-Pacific command is at DEFCON 1. The stock market has been falling for more than a week. Economists struggle to hide the past. Global financial contagion could be imminent. Truckers strike on December 20 in Spain. Let's start. Many people are worried about whether we can have a normal Christmas because of the supply crisis and announced strikes. Matthew Watt's answer is yes, despite appearances and although it is hard to believe. I will reproduce an excerpt from his message. However, I recommend that you stock up so that no one can spoil this wonderful holiday season for us. It is good to hope, but it is also good to take cautions just in case. Keep in mind that despite what you see this season, things are not what they seem, fortunately. In Spain, truckers have called a strike for Christmas in protest at the government's alleged abandonment. The sharp rise in diesel is the final straw for the sector. Only a radical and urgent change could avoid this conflict, stresses the National Transport Committee. The call consists of a 3-day strike between December 20 and 22. Other Western countries are also having problems with the supply chain, especially the United Kingdom. As the year draws to a close, many are wondering if traditional religious services and festivities with family and friends will be like they used to be. Yes, indeed, they will absolutely be able to enjoy all the celebrations of this season without restrictions or mandatory requirements, and with recent developments, it could well be a vacation in their new calendar year. The beginning of this strong possibility was nearly 90 years ago, when the Creator authorized some powerful civilizations to emit light to Gaia, so that she could release her planetary body from deep third density and embark on a course of ascension. It was her desire that the entire population advance spiritually and consciously so that they could go with her to higher astral planes. At that time, most of civilizations slept in the familiar, but when volunteers from spiritually evolved worlds began to incarnate on Earth, the light they radiated, coupled with the light emitted from afar, moved some people to see the light and awaken. As time went on, others did too, and then more and more and more. But a good number of souls continued to reject the light. Gaia sadly concluded that she couldn't wait for them to give up their preference for the dark, and encouraged by millions upon millions who were embracing the light, she kept her steady pace toward her destination in high fifth density. The pace gradually increased as the energy surges propelled the planet into successively higher planes. 2 years. This brings us to the last 2 years. What happens on Earth affects the entire universe, and what Gaia and her peoples around the world have been enduring has emanated lower frequencies and negatively affected other worlds. The recent action of the dark side was the last straw, so to speak, and additional civilizations began emitting massive amounts of light to Earth so that everything can happen faster. Therefore, the completion of the comic lesson, emerging truths, conflict resolution, uprooting of corruption and circumstances, lining up like dominoes to remove all remnants of darkness is being accelerated. The fact that many distant civilizations are now intervening in a process that will benefit them is not selfish, nor does it deny the peoples of Earth the right to manifest the kind of world they desire. It's the divine response to Gaia's request that the transformation of the world occur more quickly, so that her peoples can live freely, with joy, peace and harmony, be nurtured in body, mind and spirit, and all their needs met in abundance. That is what his people also want. The loss of constitutional and God-given rights are approaching to the boiling point, and what is coming can rightly be called the people's revolution against evil. The reign of light will illuminate masses who believed their narrative. The light has infiltrated your plan once again. The energy is very different now compared to only a few years ago. There is more light and more people carrying that light. Failure of evil. The dark plant planted on earth will not bear the fruit it was intended to do. In the end, all problems of earthly experience will disappear, and there will be only light. The dark plan has once again been changed by light. Knowing that their last attempt has been another failure, they are desperate. They are also tenacious. Most likely, they will order you to create chaos geographically and economically everywhere you come, and your new world would be surprisingly active as the recent intensification of light underpins the efforts of courageous leaders to end the dark's control of the world. By remaining calm, self-confident and joyful, they will uplift and enlighten people who do not know that what appear to be the dire situations would be grounds for great optimism. The universal law of physics that refers to justice are the reviews of light traces in a spiritual world. Those are like lifetime movies in which the individual feels exactly what all people whose lives he affected felt. And for the people mentioned above, that punishment will be far more severe than any punishment imposed by their verdicts. Reminder. Now let us return to the spirit of this season of gift giving and celebrations, and allow us to gift you with gentle reminders to celebrate life with joy. Let love be your foundation. This starts with self-love and self-respect, self-esteem and self-confidence. Be brave, but there is nothing to be afraid of. Live in harmony with nature. Visualize the earth immersed in a golden white light that fills you with lights, and as you send it around the world. And the light is a genuine smile that has an immeasurable ripple effect. Recognize and feel grateful for the blessings in your life. Trust and listen to your soul's messages, to your conscience, intuition, instinct, inspiration, and aspirations. Time in solitude and silence nourishes the soul. So do companion animals. Laughter, shooting, music and joyful entertainment. Don't judge others because you don't know how your own soul contract, let alone that of others. Learn to forgive. The people you believe have wronged you may have helped you move forward in soul growth. Forgive yourself as well. In an apology to someone is in order. Offer it and release the low frequency of guilt. Cherish the beautiful memories and let go of the ones that hurt. Get rid of trivial matters and direct your energy into avenues that will help you on the path of self-discovery. Words have frequencies. Choose your own words with care, with respect, with kindness. Be what you want in your life and in your world. Love, joy, kindness, compassion, respect, generosity, helpfulness, honesty, forgiveness, and gratitude. The sum of these reminders is do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and live from the heart. Absorbing the light is as simple as being kind, and the heart is the seat of the soul. You volunteered for one of the most important missions in this universe, saving the souls of Earth's civilization. Enter your new year with the joy of knowing that your mission is accomplished, that peoples are flourishing in Earth's golden age. All beings of light in this universe honor and support you with the unmatched power of unconditional love. Love and peace, Susan Ward. Cryptocurrency reset. The crypto market has officially collapsed. The richest Bitcoin trader has lost $2.5 million in one day as the cryptocurrency market crashes. Is the big crypto reset coming? The Bitcoin crash would be linked to Evergrande's default, according to Mike Adams, who adds that global financial contagion would be imminent. The digital fiat currency would be no more honest than a central bank. The crypto ecosystems appears to be largely based on digital counterfeiting. There seems to have been a massive cryptocurrency manufacturing operation going on for years, creating virtual cryptocurrencies that are used to buy Bitcoin, Ether, and other currencies throughout the crypto ecosystem. It seems that the crypto ecosystem has set itself up as a giant trap. Thanks to certain players in the ecosystem, cryptocurrencies have largely become a digital fiat currency, with the same kind of unlimited money printing we were all trying to escape from. Bankruptcy. X22 report. The news is trying to convince people that inflation is good and will benefit them in the end. If inflation is good for people, why did the Fed say it was transitory? The IMF has now doubled down and blames the crisis for economic destruction. The central bank pushes Bitcoin down. Over 200 Chinese companies could be kicked off US exchanges to further aggravate the crisis. Economists struggle to conceal the incoming economic collapse. Most alternative economists would have called the situation correctly in predicting the past. Some of the key policies within the literature for the Great Reboot, Restart, and what the Davos Forum calls the Fourth Industrial Revolution include universal basic income, the sharing economy, and eventually a global digital currency system that would use the IMF's basket of special drawing rights as its basis, but I believe it will fail this plan. Essentially, it would be a form of global technocratic communism, and if you enjoy individual freedom, being forced to be totally dependent of the government for your own survival does not sound appealing. To obtain such a system would require a catastrophe of epic proportions. The crisis has not convinced many hundreds of millions of people around the world to give up their freedom for the sake of security. Red numbers. US Inc. ran out of money as of Friday, December 3rd. The extension to February 2022 to shut down the government wouldn't change that fact. The stock market has been in a free fall since next to last Friday and ended in the red this Friday. According to Y+347, Indo-Pacific Command is a DEFCON 1 ready to deal with fire and fiery false flag. Mr. Poole said that the emergency broadcast system would arrive at any time. No one really knew when the liquidity in the global financial reset would occur, as it was a decision that depended on certain events, and no one has talked about it. The FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and local authorities were stunned momentarily and began trying to prepare for what they feared were imminent new attacks. In other words, it means now, not next week, not next month, not next year. Hope. Update from Holly and Wolverine. Just telling everyone that I have received amazing news that the restart would definitively launch and notifications would be appearing any day now. The meeting with HSBC was fantastic, and we are definitively having an early Christmas this month. We are in the final fight for good versus evil. There is a behind-the-scenes fight of epic proportions. We don't see it or know the details, but it is real. That's why the restart hasn't been released yet, because it is not a bake sale. It would only be released when it was safe. We don't want our money released only to have it stolen. That is why our patience is needed during the cleanup. All sources say we would be on the verge of seeing this before Christmas. If everything is handled behind the scenes, then there is a small chance it could happen next year. We don't know exactly what could happen between now and then. Have realistic expectations. Most expect things to happen sooner rather than later. Things seem to be on the final launch. Keep the faith, as this can't take much longer. Those who resist the New World Order will have God's help and protection, according to Italian Archbishop Vigano. It all starts in Iraq. Incorrect calculation of the value of the Iraqi dinar incubates payment for invest. The gurus didn't read the press release and made a mistake in writing, and talked with the understanding that the payment was the equivalent of the Iraqi dinar valued at $3.67. That was a mistake. The press release clearly states that the amount paid was equal to 400,000 Kuwaiti dinars. This works out of value of 90 cents to the Iraqi dinar. The Iraqi Stock Exchange announced on Sunday that 7 billion shares were traded during the past week with a financial value of more than 7 billion dinars. Everything was scheduled for late December or early January, according to the dinar guru. Everything was complete, and they expected Iraq to be fully compliant sometime in early 2022. Now it is the time until guiding Iraq to international acceptance of its currency. Once that step is complete, a new exchange rate will be shown. The new exchange rate would be more towards the end of the year, closer to the beginning of the next year. The Central Bank of Iraq establishes bank branches in Turkey. This was good news because it means that investors can possibly visit a safe country in which to exchange Iraqi dinars or open a bank account and possibly establish a 4% interest rate. Now all the money is spent. Whatever he sets up in payments is still draining his income, and his income cannot continue to support the lifestyle his fantasies created. Turkish state television announced that police are conducting an investigation to arrest suspects in the failed attempt to assassinate President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Trump calls General Milley idiot. Trump recalled a conversation from Afghanistan with Milley, the highest-ranking military officer. In quotes, Sir, it's cheaper to leave equipment in Afghanistan than to bring it over, was Milley's advice. Quotes again, you think it's cheaper to leave it there so they can have it than to fill it up with half a tank? Asked Trump. That's when I realized he was an idiot, he adds. We'll invest $1 billion in Trump social network. Donald Trump has secured deals for investors from $1 billion as he works to establish a social networking platform to rival the big tech companies that ousted him. Trump announced December 4th that pledges from unidentified investors will turn into investments once Digital Wealth Acquisition Corp., a blank check firm, and the social networking group known as Trump Media and Technology Group Corp. combine. The group plans to unveil a platform called Truth Social in 2022. Vehicle monitoring mandate for automakers. The new infrastructure bill will also include a mandate for automakers to install kill switches in their vehicles. The proposed device should monitor the performance of a motor vehicle driver to accurately identify whether that driver may be impaired. International Space Station forced to drop 1,000 feet to avoid collision with decades-old space junk. Astronauts on the International Space Station took a 300-foot dive Friday after a decades-old piece of space junk threatened to collide with them. Dmitry Rogozin, who heads Russia's Roscosmos Space Agency, says the unscheduled 3-minute avoidance maneuver was set in motion because the space debris, which usually consists of pieces of spacecraft that broke off or launched vehicles that were abandoned in space, floating around. In this case, the space debris was a fragment of a Pegasus rocket that went into orbit in 1994. Vacations are the priority, the holidays. Simple kindness leads to big change, by Ann Alberts. A simple, tiny act of kindness makes all the difference in the world to those whose lives it has affected. One act of kindness can stop a suicide. One act of kindness can stop the recklessness that can change an entire life. One act of kindness can be passed on again and again. And one act of kindness sends a vibrational wave of love rippling out into a world in need. Do not underestimate your value on this earth. Never underestimate your power to do good, to influence the balance of energies toward the light. Pufness said, we are being entertained by the continual disorders and miasmas that are prevalent in society right now. The art of deception has prevailed over the centuries as human beings have taken advantage of human beings, and very little progress has been made over the ages, but that time is changing rapidly now. As we have said, not much has changed, but we know it will. You have to hold on tight and enjoy the ride. That is all we can share with this situation at this time. The light and the dark are in it. Do what you can. You are not being forgotten. Energy is continually being sent to you, and you can always ask for help. The news is that nothing has changed in the last few days. That is to be expected from the time of year that it is. Things are prioritized and the vacations are the priority. Continue to see the entire planet blessed and enriched and freedom reigning everywhere. See it and then create it. Do the work. Hold the light high. Make peace and embrace your loved ones. Light is a gift in all its forms. Reflection from the Buffet's office. Why is it that vacations are considered a season of giving? Shouldn't giving be a constant? Have you ever convinced yourself that it is better to give than to receive? The problem seems to be based on expectations of getting something for what you give. People are disappointed when appreciation for their giving is not acknowledged or nothing is given in return. How wonderful it would be if people would go out of their way for others without seeking anything in return. One should never remember a kindness done and never forget a kindness received. It is called being human. Before you call yourself a Christian, Buddhist, Muslim, Hindu or any other theology, first learn to be human. When you give someone the act of kindness or compassion you exhibit, it is its own reward. They say compassion is the basis of morality. As for morality, I know that what is moral is what you feel good about after doing, and what is immoral is what makes you feel bad after doing it. When the gifts you bestow on others are not used in the way you expected, don't deny your intentions of your act of giving. It can be good advice, your time, your efforts, wisdom, money, or something physical. No matter what you give, it is the act itself that has merit and should be applauded by yourself. In this chaotic world we live in these days, where human values are not perceived as valuable commodity. Take your time during this holiday season and give what you can. Focus on what people need, not what they want. If you have the ability to give, give. Keep in mind that giving can take many forms besides money, your time, kindness, wisdom, or simply acknowledging someone who might otherwise be alone in the world. It always feels good to be thought of. Call a friend or family member you haven't talked to for a while. Play ball with your kids, and above all, always do the right thing, even if there is no benefit to you. Even if your compass is broken, you can move in the right direction. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.